Hello and welcome to Comics Aussie Indie Comic Review, and this is where we look at the current classic and Aussie indie titles, whether it be a standard one-shot, part of a series, or a graphic novel. And we hope to enlighten you about its contents as well as its creators and see where it takes us. If we go off topic, who knows, we might all learn something new. So before we start, please like, subscribe to Comics so we don't miss out on any of their comic-related any of the comic related content.
Danny, how are you? First of all,
I'm good, mate. I'm just going to say, if anybody has any questions, just pop them in the comments because this is pre-recorded, and we will get back to them. And if anybody has a comic out there that they want reviewed, if they contact Shane at Comics, either through the Facebook page or through the comments here, we will definitely look at it and review it. We definitely are open to anybody's new comics as long as it's has some Aussie content, being a creator or as in writer or artist. And so my name's Danny, and we have Max there as the author of Stellar Lands as my co-host. And this week we are going to do Chum. But before we start on that, here you go, Max.
Sexy cover.
Yes, very sexy cover. It's called Surf Noir. So a murder.
A play on film noir, which is the style of filmmaking that was influenced by German Expressionism post-war, and whose first iteration was John Huston's excellent film The Maltese Falcon, where shadow play, where you have a femme fatale pulling the strings, where you have that's why they call it hard-boiled detective novels. You have a hard-boiled protagonist, someone who's really dyed in the wool and has very little in the way of compassion, but has a streak of principles that he'll cling on to despite the lack of logic. And there's conspiracy and layers upon layers to be uncovered. And the last film noir was in the 50s. I believe it was Kiss Me Deadly by Robert Aldrich. And that sort of veered into the ridiculous because there was a supernatural element that was introduced in the end. But yeah, that's a brief film history for you. And that's where the term noir comes from.
Well, with your explanation there, I think you've just about smacked the core of this comic right in the guts. That is describes it beautifully. Femme fatale, a hard-boiled detective who just happens to be her ex-husband, who is on this idyllic, I'd say Bahamas beach, or
if I can just delve into it, they call it surf noir because while the spirit and the intangibles of the film noir genre or a subgenre are still in play, the iconography is different. We're not looking at conversations behind cigarette smoke or espionage-like transferences of information under a streetlight, under the glow of a streetlight in an alleyway somewhere. People aren't wearing raincoats. What the iconography instead is this ironic subversion of paradise, beaches, blue skies, sand, clean sand. Yeah,
that's true. And let's, when you say that the first part of intrigue happens out on the water on two surfboards, which is when you think about it, someone tries to hurt someone else, and which comes back to something that happens later, and you think, oh yeah, so we should talk about the writer and the artist. Ryan K. Lindsay is probably, in my opinion, the second best writer of comics in Australia at the moment. You're pretty hard to come close to Tom Taylor, but he has also worked with Dark Horse, Impact, and
how long has he been in the game?
Yes. So Canberra based, and Sammy Kevlar is I think I've said that right. Hang on, I'll just go back and Sammy Cavalla. Sorry, Sam Cavalla. He's worked with him a few times on quite a few different stories. A lot of them the same noir-based storylines. And Sammy he's worked for everybody. I think he's worked for everyone bar DC and Marvel, which I don't think he really suits the superhero kind of style. I think he tends to like to do these short runs, one-offs that are more appealing to him. So yeah, very popular Danish artist. So and as you can see, he's quite accomplished at getting the clever storylines that Ryan puts together and puts them in a great little layout. Can I get any feedback off you? What you thought of the style of the book itself, the way it was presented?
Oh yeah, well, what I noticed first and foremost was, yes, we're in paradise. We're in, I believe it's Kingsford, where a beach called.
It doesn't say whether it's like in Miami or below in the Bahamas, but you get the feeling it's like Hawaii, Bahamas. It's almost like where the pirates used to hang out. It's kind of like a little. There's a touch of lawlessness about it, you know.
Yeah, a piracy motif, definitely. And instead of being pure blue or pure brown in terms of the sand, there I get like a drop of red, like almost a tinge of red in the color grade, which was a nice touch. It was very ominous. It
gives a sense of red.
yeah. It's definitely evocative of a specific mood. And yeah, that's one of the things visually which drew me in and which evoked emotion. It was great.
Well, basically the story is there is a lady who runs the well-known bar there and diner, and there's her ex-husband is basically the only policeman working on this, I don't know, island, and we have all the classics in this. There seems to be a bad guy who runs the place, but he's kind of knows his bounds between they have the police officer and him have a relationship, an understanding. And then there's the hard-boiled lady reporter, who seems to always wanting to get something.
I'm in this issue, yeah.
And then there's the big tough softy guy who is really a killer, but he's secretly in love with the lady who runs the diner. So you can see that, and the lady with the diner, even though the police officer is her ex-husband, they still have a relationship, but she's actually sleeping with the guy who's the main crook. So she's the main one. She's the femme fatale. Who's the whole story is based on her.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, very well done. Very well played. Yeah,
but this is one of three. So we sorry you dropped out there, man, Max.
A lot of seed planting in this issue. A lot of a lot of seed planting and development and story formation. And yeah, we don't necessarily get into the body of things, but we establish a mystery, and we establish the four principal players of the narrative, which were Summer, Gus, Penny, and Standard. And then I assume that the reporter comes in later and takes on a greater role of prominence, though her panels are very limited in this issue. But as far as building a world as far as inciting an incident, it Maltese Falcons it does it in a very film noir sort of cynical but yet expressive way.
Yes. I just have to point out that you've named the characters there. Summer is the femme fatale.
Yes.
Gus is the big bulky kind of standover guy with the heart of gold or in love with Summer, and Penny is the
Crime Kingpin, the
Crime King, that's the best way to call him.
Yeah, who's I guess he's circling the periphery of the mystery just as much as we are. He's out of the loop, you could say. And then their standard, yes, the hard boiled.
And this is all based around a big surf competition that's going to start.
Yes, yeah, it's mentioned, but in the first issue, but I'm sure it becomes a more important plot point later on as the story progresses.
I think as a graphic novel, I know the graphic novel's out there somewhere. It's a complete one. I have read it, but it was quite some time ago, and I just reacquainted myself with the first issue. I think the first issue is good enough to draw you in, as to seek out the other two issues and see where the story goes. It is well written, well crafted, and kind of exploits a genre that I don't think a lot of comics go to these days.
I think Marvel had a whole X-Men noir at one point. I'm sure examples about. I mean, Rorschach, he's film noir personified. He's even got the raincoat going on, and
but that was 40 years ago. Yeah, we're talking, recently now.
Yeah. Well,
but that is the funny part about it. I think even though it's in a place that is obviously quite hot and very tropical, the policeman still wears a waistcoat. Have you noticed that? Standard.
No. Well,
yeah. It is a bit weird.
Yes, style over practicality, and you know what? If I could pull that look off, I totally would.
Well, I've got people, friends, or acquaintances, I should say, who have moved to Melbourne, and that's the first thing they thought was, we can now wear our coats in winter. Everyone can look cool in coats and sunglasses, because when that sun comes out after the rain, it's blinding. Melbourne, Noir City. There you go. Not really.
Well, if there was a film noir in Australia, it would take place in St Kilda, I dare say.
Oh yes. Especially back when I was a kid. Oh, it definitely would, because there was a different place back then. It had an appeal.
There have been Australian murder mysteries written in that setting. I believe Nick Enright wrote Black Rock, which is about trying to solve a crime, or a surfing community coming to terms with a crime, in much the same way, or even to a darker extent.
And Latana too. I don't know if you know that one. That was similar. Who did that happen? Anthony LaPaglia, I think. He come back home and played Australian.
What's it?
Huh? Sorry.
What was this?
Latana.
Yeah, Lantana. Yes, an excellent film. Not necessarily surf. It was more like the Vaucluse posh area, as opposed to the barefoot sandal and sand.
Oh yeah. I only said that because there seem to be a lot of things happening around the beach, usually dumping of bodies and stuff. So, but
it lends itself to I guess crime, the covering up of crime that way. Yeah, very well.
But put it this way, it was good to read an intelligent comic that had a lot going with it.
As far as I was able to ascertain, it was a lot of seed planting, and I can't wait to see how it all develops. And unfortunately, these are very difficult copies to find.
Yes, I don't know why, because it was a successful Kickstarter, but this was 2016. I think COVID made a lot of things go away for some reason. But if you look on Owner Indie, I have no doubt that he keeps his comics well stocked up there, and you may be able to find you might drop the whole graphic novel there, the whole 3 pieces put together. And I know I'll definitely be looking for it again because I really enjoyed this comic. I thought it was just the way it was presented, the story, the characters, and also the little bits and pieces he puts at the end. At the end of the comic, he gives an explanation of why he wrote it. And also, he has this little thing he does with his comics when he does Kickstarters. He asks for people to give 6-word ideas, stories, just a 6-word story. You know, like Hemingway's. You know, what's the saddest story ever for sale? Baby shoes never worn. You know, things like this. So he's. And if you go to the end, you'll see things like what is it? Brian Wilson goes missing. Oh, Brian Wilson missing. God only knows, you know, because of Beach Boys and things.
He died in drowning, didn't he?
No, that was his brother. Yeah, what's his name? Dennis Wilson missing. God only knows. Yeah. So stuff like that. He likes to play around with his readers and his supporters. So because I don't think he's had a Kickstarter that's failed. He seems to be pretty popular. It was quite funny. Brian K. Lindsay did that whole. Got invited to that DC. They have some kind of where you're invited onto DC Writers Retreat, and it's usually a pathway into writing for DC. He was the only one who wasn't chosen. I don't know why. It's because
do you work on a specific project while you're there? Maybe it was just project specific. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems it's like something like football. You know, how they have the training camps and they say this is what we want, this is what we expect from you. Give us some stories, and everyone got picked up except for him. It was a bit sad. I just remember him writing about that once because he was all excited. He said you get to that point where you're basically knocking on the door. They're ready to invite you in, and then they say, "No, we don't think we'll do it this time." I thought
there'll be opportunities, I'm sure. Yeah.
Anyway, it's something we'll all experience once in our lifetime. Being writers, yeah. Everybody knows artists are the superstars of comics. I've got to stop being sarcastic. Anyway, so I think we both realised that we really enjoyed this comic, and you got anything else to say before we say goodnight?
No, well, just hopefully we can find. I can find those 2 subsequent chapters which you've already read. And if anyone's watching and who knows how to access them, please let us know.
Let us know. And if you want to talk about it in the comments below, please do. We are more than happy to talk about any of the comics review. And if you think that we've missed the point, let us know. We're open.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye.
All right. This was a great read, and please shower us with your recommendations.
Yes, please do. Thanks. See you, Max.
Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.